Hello everyone, and welcome to the brand new Dead by Daylight chapter. This is the one a lot of people have been waiting for a really long time, this being The Walking Dead. This survivor paragraph includes Rick and Michonne Grimes, along with a legendary for Daryl, with other characters coming down the line. So if you guys like that legendary AMC franchise, go ahead and get into the fog, and then you will see... What? What do you mean? Somebody behind me? What? Hey, who are you? Oh, me? I'm DBD seriously accruing bugs that are never being fixed. How long have you been standing there? Oh, days. Weeks. Months? Some of us have been here for years. Oh, really? Did nobody on our team really think to, like, I don't know, clear you up before we actually released a really big chapter? Oh, they know about him. It's releasing anyways. They told you they were going to release it anyways? Well, that's a little awkward. Hi guys, Rant here, and welcome to a video I don't want to make because I have tried very hard over the last year or so to really highlight how awesome Dead by Daylight has been doing at handling the bugs, handling issues, listening to feedback, and I want nothing more, especially considering the fact that I started playing a long time ago when they didn't do this, to sing their praises on how much they're listening to the community. I have had so many great experiences, especially when the Xenomorph was about to be bugged. Thank you, Jocelyn, in particular. We're trying to help out and reach out and touch base with that. But I can't say that. And patch after patch for about 3 months now, I don't think we can say that anymore. I don't think this is a behavior that listens. I don't think it's a behavior that is actually caring about the health of the game, despite the Operation Health thing. And when today's patch came out today, there were so many issues. There were issues that weren't fixed, that have been ongoing for a long time. There are new issues that are very frustrating, and the new fog vials at best are an accessibility nightmare, and at worst can just absolutely destroy games for you, whether it just be through pure irritation or actual effectiveness. I hate this patch. I hate it so much, and I have not used the H word for any patch that's come through in a very long time. Like, I actually hate it. First off, before we get into this, I want to say there's going to be some of you down in the comments go, oh, you're surprised DBD's bugged? This is probably the buggiest the game has been since, like, a la 2020 Twins chapter. So yeah, it's a little bit more excessive than usual. So if you don't have anything productive to say, please keep it to yourself. So maybe we'll just take a walk through my day. How about that? Because this is a rant that is completely unscripted, and there's honestly so much wrong with the game that there's no way I can cover it all in one video unless I was here for like hours and hours. So let's just take a walk through my day. So first off, I get on the game of Dead by Daylight today, and the first thing that hits me is the lobby, which is admittedly one of the prettiest we've had in a really long time. Really cool, but it's so extremely loud. So extremely loud. You have the birds, you have the zombies, you have the fires, just like... It's like I'm in a wind tunnel the moment I open the game. There are many people that were in my chat today who said they're actively muting the game when they're in the menu because the menu is so loud. Sick, awesome, that's great. So I go to finally, load up a game of Dead by Daylight, and the moment I load in on the card screen where it shows all the offerings, one of the poles for, I guess, the street sign is just hanging in the background. Well, that's kind of weird. That shouldn't be there. But then realistically, no, it's just a visual bug. It's not that big of a deal. But for a game that's 9 years old and is no longer an indie company because of how much profit you've made, why is this even a problem? I don't know. Let's move on. So I finally get in and I start playing games, and I realize that despite the fact that they supposedly changed them a bit, the fog vials are still, like I said, at best an accessibility nightmare, and at worst a actual game-changing, irritating situation. So first off, I want to say this. I had people in my chat today that have talked about the fact that they have eye issues. Somebody in my chat, it does not have their left eye, and this is not something you can have in the game. Let's say we're not even thinking about the accessibility side of this, and we think about this solely from a gameplay perspective. I, from Behavior Shoes, really want to have an item that has infinite charges. Infinite, never goes away. And I want that to be in my games non-stop. I want almost every chase to have an instance of use of this item that completely disorients the other side and makes them confused. I want regular non-stop confusion multiple times throughout every single match of DBD. I want my players to be regularly confused nonstop throughout the match. I want them to have every chase they enter, I want them to nonstop be confused and nonstop not know what's happening. Yeah, that's a great item idea. If you stop and you say it aloud for 2 seconds, you have to admit that sounds like a terrible idea. But nope. Well, let's send it. We'll send it through. It'll be fine. Yeah, it's great. That's okay. I have people talk about how even just like the muffle whirring and the noises that it makes, even though they adjusted that to the silence, like this has been in the trajectory of the PTB, warned ahead of time, far ahead of time from the PTB, that no, fog vials are a nightmare from an accessibility standpoint. They're a nightmare from gameplay standpoint. They do nothing but irritate, bother, and frustrate. Most survivor mains that I talked to didn't want the fog vials. They're not happy to have them. So who is this for? Because now we're all just suffering through it. But wait, there's more. I log on, like I was saying, we're going through my day, right? My first game on running into the fog vials, I was also playing Xenomorph. Guess what? While I'm rocking around the map as Xenomorph, I'm seeing the pallet placements for Freddy's pallet power all over the map. Why am I seeing that? It's super weird and super disorienting. If I'm trying to go around a corner and line up a shot, I don't want a giant orange block in the way, blocking me from seeing what I am needing to aim at. It's in the way. What weird world do we live in where Freddy's pallet power is being visible on Xenomorph? How is that a thing? Maybe there's a back end there where maybe they copy and pasted some stuff over from a different character and we're just now seeing it for the first time. That's cool. I love I love having my screen obscured with random stuff from another character's power in the middle of me trying to do things. That's pretty cool. That's pretty awesome. But wait, there's more. Every time I'm going for a tail tag during this match, the audio is no longer normal and balanced between my headphones. Instead, it's coming from the bottom left, which after the first 2 or 3 times really starts to irritate me and hurt my ears a little bit, because every single time the audio is just randomly shot off to the left, almost like off screen, every single time I throw a tail attack. I don't know if you've ever played Xenomorph, but that is their main power, the tail attack. So to have the audio off down to the bottom left every single time you need to attack is really disorienting and really irritating. And after hours and hours of it, it was really starting to get on my nerves. And there's a lot of people coming into chat during this saying my character's bugged too. Vecna apparently also has this issue now where, you know, for some reason his spell audio is coming from the bottom left. I don't know why that's a thing. People were saying a lot of the night bugs weren't fixed, even though night's historically been super bugged. Xenomorph has been historically also super bugged since the Arella patch. I'm sure you guys have been trying to shoot over objects and sometimes you get thin air above the object for no reason. Yeah, that's been a thing since the Arella patch and it's never been fixed. Night, same situation. Their bugs have not been fixed. A lot of the perks that were kind of like feared to come into the game, like the free stuns from that one perk and then conviction with the just getting back up and leaving a game, those came through. I had somebody talking about today how they had a head-on squad with the vault stun squad that were just holding them hostage at Dead Dog Saloon. So that's great. I'm glad that's still a thing that could happen in the game. Head-on stuns, the head-on stun bully squad thing has been a thing for such a long time, and the fact that we have not addressed that is already a problem, but now we have an extra thing that can stun, so we can make that situation even worse. Excellent, awesome, amazing. But hey, at least Pyramid had one. There's that. Pyramid Head is pretty cool now. Oh, that's right, Pyramid also has a new bug where every time they flick, their M2 is off center. Never mind. I guess even the good things have bad things that go along with them. I guess we're back to 2020 behavior where every patch just barely functions and invites a whole slew of new bugs to the game that make it to where so many characters are not playable. There's so many characters right now that just have a whole slew of bugs. Xeno is the one that obviously making me the most upset. Knight still has a slew of bugs. Deathslinger still has a slew of bugs. Plague still has a slew of bugs. Like, I don't know, man. And I want to say this about the fog vials too, is that, yeah, if you hate facing certain items, especially an item that is an accessibility nightmare and also is very, very disorienting and frustrating, even if you don't have accessibility issues necessarily, at least you can run Franklin's Demise. Oh yeah, that's right. We nerfed that. That's right. You can't even run the one thing that if you literally can't stand facing the fog vials because they're either an accessibility problem or so frustrating to you, we took away the one way you could handle that. We took away the one perk that you could use to handle that. I've never been a Franklin's guy, to be honest. I've never been a major proponent of Franklin's. I always thought that Franklin's, if you really want to use it, you should have a rework to it where it just returns the item immediately to the survivor's inventory. That way it's just a done deal. We don't do this whole like, oh, well, it's on the ground and it's losing charges. Just smack it and now it's immediately back in the survivor's inventory. They don't lose the item, so they can bring it in the next game, and then you still get to play your game without an item. That's great. You know, you want to not face items as killer, and they still don't want to lose their item for a dumb reason. There you go. Both ends covered. But nope, they just decided to blow it up. Said no more Franklin's Demise. The only way you can get around this. We're getting rid of Franklin's Demise. There is a very infamous, and we're going to go off on a side tangent here. Just to very briefly explain this comparison I'm setting up. For those of you that are into wrestling, there was a wrestler called CM Punk that quit at one point because many issues, but one of them was he kept getting injured by somebody he was working with. And during an interview, he asked the guy directly, like, are you doing this on purpose or are you stupid? You need to tell me right now. Are you intentionally trying to hurt me? Or do you just really not know? Are you actually just dumb? And that's my question to behavior when it comes to the Franklin's changes. Did you intentionally, maliciously know that there was going to be an accessibility issue item coming through, and the only way to defend themselves against it, you took away intentionally, maliciously, so you would make sure that fog vials would be used to their maximum extent? Or could you just not figure out how to make the whole infinite charges thing work out with Franklin's? It's almost like having an item have infinite charges doesn't make sense and shouldn't have been a thing to begin with. But that's an aside. The point being, either you couldn't figure out how to make it work with the charges, or you maliciously wanted people to potentially go through accessibility problems on purpose just because you put a lot of effort into putting into this new item. You really wanted this new item to go well because you put a lot of effort into it, and you said, I see the accessibility issues, I do not care. So buy Franklin's. And I really hope it's not that. I really hope it's not that. Because once again, I know you're better than that. Dude, that is not the company that has been reaching out and trying to listen to their community. That is not them. That'd be so messed up. I know somebody's going to say it in the comments, so I should probably say it. This is not a something I'm thinking about retorting to sort of thing, but it's like, ever since we wanted Operation Health, but what we meant is we want you to stop and take time to fix all of these bugs that are accumulating over and over and over and just compiling and compiling. We should not have people just like avoiding specific characters because they've gotten to such a broken down state. I had a friend that was in chat today who was like, oh, I'm going to play Houndmaster. Oh, nope, my dog's invisible, and now my dog's invisible for both me and the survivors, so it's just bad for both of us. Like, Houndmaster released in this state of being super buggy and super clunky. It is now July, almost August. This character's been out for months and months and months, and you have not given her R&R. If you've not tried to fix her, you've just kind of left her in this awful state. But you're going to put out Operation Health, guys. We're going to fix everything. Like, there's so much just busted now that it's like, I understand that you have investors and stuff. You gotta appease and all that, but like, God, please just take a break. Please, realistically, just stop. Stop putting out content. We don't need mid-chapter content. We don't need chapter content. We need things to work in our video game. I cannot tell you how many times I go for a tail attack over an object and I hit 3 feet of thin air high up above an object that has no reason to be there. And I'm just like, cold take, I want my power to work. Cold take, I want my power to actually function in the video game. Huntress mains have been dealing with this for like over a year now. Huntress mains will have similar issues where they'll try to shoot over an object and it just hits thin air over it, or they'll throw a hatchet dead on, hit a survivor, and the game just validates them and says, nah, no, it didn't happen. Their hatchets are literally disappearing in front of them, and people are actively not playing Huntress as a result, and that has never been fixed. Apparently, it is becoming, I said cold take, but apparently it's becoming a hot take to have your power function in Dead by Daylight. It is a hot take that you should believe that your power should function in DBD, because it darn sure is not a priority at all on the other end. It's not their priority to make sure that works. These things have been bugged. They've been bugged for a long time, patch after patch. It's getting worse, and they are not fixing it, which once again leads me back to that, analogy. Do you not know how to fix it, or are you intentionally ignoring it to stay on schedule? It's one of the two. Either you don't know how or you're ignoring it on purpose. Whatever that purpose is, I don't know. But either you're ignoring it on purpose or you just don't know how to fix it. And I just wish we had answers, because it's just... I know I've said it once before, but I'll say it again. Like this feels like 2020 DBD. This feels like the old behavior that something would get bugged and we wouldn't get a fix for it for years. I'm not exaggerating. Some things would not get fixed for years. And I know this is not the image they're trying to put out. This is not the ethic that they're trying to portray. So the fact that this is the behavior, this is the behavior instead of just like having all this stuff compile. I made a tweet recently saying that so many characters have decayed. That's the big word. Characters have decayed over time to a point where they have become playable. Seeing Pixie, ZM Pixie, Night Main, in love with the Night. And I do mean literally, like literally would marry this fictional man if he was real. Loves the Night. Playing Spree Trap instead because their character is so bug is harrowing. This person has devoted all of their DVD presence to the Night, to this specific character, but they're playing other characters because their character is so bugged. Oh, but good thing we almost nerfed him into the dirt. That got reverted, thankfully, but hey, good thing we almost shot another character that was either B or C tier down into the D tier without even fixing their bugs. Is that the behavior you want to be? Because I don't think it is, but that's what you're doing. I am... Oh, we didn't even get into the chase thing. We didn't even get into the chase thing. Yeah, don't play M1 killers right now and slot bamboozle right now, because chase is not starting all the time. I was trying to find a method to the madness. I was like, is it the obsession? Is it this or is it that? Nope, it just randomly. Sometimes you won't get an entire match where chase will function perfectly fine and it's great. And then I'll have a match like I did on Dead Dog Saloon where every single chase I had, except for like one, didn't start until I hit the survivor. Do you understand how fundamental even just Bloodlust 1 is to the game of Dead by Daylight? There are so many loops that become infinites if you don't even get Bloodlust 1. Furthermore, there are so many loops that become infinites if the window is never blocked, because the window blocker mechanic, when you vault a window 3 times, is specifically tied to the chase mechanic. So if the chase mechanic is not working, guess what? So many things that are infinites suddenly do become infinites because that window is never gonna block. There are so many times where you're at a tile and the right play honestly is like, well, I guess I just have to force the window block. Can't do that anymore. And what do you do if you don't have bamboozle? I don't know, grind Eerie shards. What if you do if you don't have Eerie shards? I guess pay up so you can get clowns, so you can get bamboozle to make a base kit function in the game work. Don't use play with your food. Chases don't start, so you're not going to get value out of that. You have to actually run up and hit the survivor for the chase to even begin. And at that point, if you're supposed to be avoiding chase with the obsession to keep your play with your food stacks, that kind of defeats the purpose now, don't it? Like I said, I can't even imagine what it's like playing an M1 killer right now. I play Xenomorph. I hit up over things. There were playing times today, even though I didn't have, chase start. At least I could, W him down and tail attack him. What do you do if you're John Ghostface? Get dunked on, I guess. Hey, John Ghostface, one of his best perks is play with your food. Can't use that right now. I wouldn't want to be a Ghostface main right now. By the way, once again, the chase problem was in the PTB. You guys remember, I made a PTB clown video that was very funny about just plopping down the yellow haste and running at people because the new clown is so much more brainless than the previous iteration of the character, which was honestly fine. But I initially started using play with your food and I ended up taking it off because the same bug was in the PTB. And guess what? That bug also came to life. Why did so many bugs from the PTB go to life? Why do we use the PTB anymore? Because it basically, most things that happen in the PTB go to live anyway. What is it for? I do not know. Would it really kill them to put off a chapter release by 1 or 2 weeks so we can actually, iron out all the nasty anti-health bugs that are prevalent in there? Yeah, I feel like most players would be cool with that. I feel like most people who play this game regularly would be awesome and encouraging of that situation. Would it really have killed you to just let it cook some more? I don't know, maybe, but this is a very painful alternative. So let's try to turn this into something constructive. If you are not a fan of the fact that chase isn't starting right now, make sure you run bamboozle so you can still block windows. Try to avoid playing M1 killers because when chase isn't starting, that's going to be pretty rough. and then make your life much worse. Make sure you play a character with a power that can still hit the survivor, even if you don't get Bloodlust 1 or 2. If you hate the fog vials, I guess one thing you can do is run like lethal with an aura perk. Auras don't work inside the fog, but if you use lethal, maybe you can make the aura last long enough that you can, like, you know, see them leaving. Could do something like that. That's about the best general advice I can give. A lot of the character being bugged thing, like, honestly, the answer, unfortunately, is just don't play those characters or play them less, which is a very sad thing to say, especially when, you know, like, Alien's my dream chapter and I love them a lot. So the fact that I have to look at them and be like, you know, I'm going to keep playing them. I'm not going to quit. I waited too long to be able to play you in another game that wasn't the AVP games. So I'm not waiting. But I'm not going to quit them, but honestly, my best advice is play those characters less that have a lot of bugs. I think the worst thing about this is compounding off of an already miserable meta. Most games you have sprint burst vigil. I have people sprint bursting multiple times in chase, especially now that there's the fog vial, so they can sprint burst, get to a chase at a loop, and then while you're looping at the loop, disappear behind a wall, throw the fog vial, disappear for a tiny bit, and even if they catch you again, now you have sprint burst again. The heal meta was already gross. Medkits are so good. Stuff like Botany, Desperate are making it to where you can heal in like 4 to 5 seconds. The TLDR being is that the fog vials and the bugs and stuff kind of accentuate an already very irritating meta to play in. So I don't know, man. Gotta turn this ship around at a certain point, because the direction it's going is not one that I or a lot of people are really excited for. I think the baseline, like immediate things on like my to-do list, please start fixing these bugs. Take it seriously. I don't know if it means delaying a chapter or mid-chapter or something, but please lock down these bugs. It's getting atrocious. It's getting unplayable for a lot of characters and a lot of people. So please focus on that. The fog vials should never have come to the game. Most people agree with that. They're an accessibility nightmare and just very annoying and irritating otherwise. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what to tell you. Like, I'm just mostly disappointed more than anything. I know it's like the cliche thing to say, like the dad thing to say. It's like, I'm not mad, I'm just disappointed. But it's really how I feel. I feel just a deep disappointment for a company that I really was starting to believe in and really thought had our back and had a modicum of a good standard that they would apply and not let really nasty stuff like this go through. But I don't know what happened, but that's not what they're doing right now. And I hope they get back on track. And I hope videos like these and people being outspoken about it does give them a wake-up call, so they can return to kind of like the behavior they were in the last like year or two, that like listens to our feedback, tries not to have a really shoddy, very buggy experience. It's the best I can say, and you know, I just really hope you do better, because I want you to do better, not just for, you know, our experience. That's the main reason, right? We want, you know, the game not to be miserable for as many players as possible, but just so like you don't deserve to have this like bad reputation. And considering the amount of effort you've taken to shirk that bad reputation that was built up in the early years of DBD, you don't deserve to be in this spot again. But if you know, make your bed that way, you gotta lie in it, unfortunately. I really don't want that to happen again. So yeah, what kind of weird bugs or situations are you experiencing out there in the world of Dead by Daylight in this new patch? I'm sure if you're playing Survivor, it's not nearly as bad. Just a lot of weird stuff. I've heard there's a lot of stuttering issues happening in the game right now. That's not great. I haven't run into those as much, but I have heard that in my chat today. Dracula's another one. I don't know why that just came to me. Dracula's another one. Dracula's had stuttering and an accumulation of a lot of bad bugs on him for a long time, and now he has a camera bug. He has 2 camera bugs, actually, that just got introduced with this patch. One that puts his camera below the map and one that puts it above the map. How does that happen? I don't know. But yeah, I want to make sure I included that, because that's another problem. Yeah, once again, sorry, not a very fun or happy video today. I really didn't want to have to make this video because I really want to believe in behavior and want to believe that they're past putting out poor quality chapters or poor quality anything, just content in general. But I guess that's just not the case right now, and hopefully we can steer them back the right direction. So yeah, I appreciate you guys so much, and hopefully I'll see you in the next video. But if I don't see you there, I'll see you when I see you. Goodbye.